we have a lot of immigrants from all over the world here in Vegas, and everybody gets a chance, right? If you come in and work hard, doesn't matter your status, whatever, people do get a chance here in Vegas to do something, right? And nobody cares where you're from. I have not seen that. I felt it in other places in the States, but not in Vegas. Here people welcome you, and if you're willing to work hard and give what you be in integrity with what you promise, then you're gonna do fine, and you're gonna be welcome.
That's awesome. And it's true. Yeah, it's so diverse, this city, like everyone from everywhere, which kind of brings me to my next question. Just a couple minutes ago, a guy here outside, as I was setting up to film, came here and asked me some questions about the podcast because he sees us film here often. Mm-hmm. And then I shared how much the cost is to produce every episode. And he was surprised that it's actually quite expensive. And I know that, obviously you're funding this show with your own money. And it's not cheap to produce a podcast. That's, I feel like, a big misconception with people. Mm-hmm. So what's the end goal? What's driving you to make that investment? Outside of just like sharing the community and all that stuff, do you have like a monetary goal for the podcast, or?
It's gonna sound really interesting, but no, there's no monetary goal. It's just a love of art. The main goal that I had was to go through 100 episodes, get good at the craft of podcasting, which, if you remember, the first episode was completely different from what we have right now. And it keeps evolving, and it's going to keep getting better. But the only objective was to get through 100. I know that it was going to be a cost. I know that if I'm out there meeting great people, I'm going to get something back, but I have not measured it in dollars and cents. I don't think with all the podcast and people making content out there, content has gotten very commoditized, right? Everybody can come out and make content. So it wasn't like probably 10 years ago you could expect to make a podcast for a profit. But I think that if that is your main motive, to make monetary out of it, I don't think you're going to be successful. And we have seen it. There's several podcasts that we've been in, that we've been invited to, that launched alongside our podcast with like the same concept, right? Giving voice to entrepreneurs and people in Vegas and interesting people and this and that. I've seen them all disappear. Yeah. Like 5 or 6, right? We have been the only ones that have been consistent. And I think it's because we have that goal of going through 100 episodes. And you mentioned that the other day, it's 2 years of commitment, right?
Yeah. And we're going on 7 months now. We started this in January, and we're 30 plus episodes in, so about 2 years it's going to take us to get to 100.
I've always had a love for the city. I came when I was 18 and 21 and certain times with my dad, and to different seminars, right? Because I've always been kind of like a seminar junkie, learning different things. At the time I was learning stock market trading, and I was doing, this goes back way a long time. So I was doing the stock market, and I failed utterly at it and lost a whole bunch of money from my family. I was doing this back in Mexico, and then my mom forced me to finish college, which I didn't want to because I was making $20,000-$30,000 a month back in that time. Imagine, it's like probably... Yeah. 100,000 a month this time, right?
Today's money, yeah.
To today's money. So when I decided to pick myself back up, and I always like reading and learning, and I started learning about real estate, and I went to these seminars in the States again, and I met a couple from Vegas. Their name was Duncan and Karen, and Duncan and Karen were presenting in the seminar. They were a success story, and they had made like $1 million in equity within like 6 months or something like that, right? So and they were starting to teach, right? The American way, you make your million and then you make 10 million showing others
teaching how to make the million.
how to make the million, right? So I came to they were here in Vegas, and they were charging $800, and I had and then I just decided one day, just left a girlfriend, left the house, just drove over here, and yeah, just something guided me, right? Something, I don't know, now I can see it.
Get goosebumps.
Like scripted, yes. It was like divine guidance. I had to be here, right? And I also love poker, so what better place to be when you have a hobby like that, right?
True. Awesome. That's amazing. And then Mr. Sergio,
Mr. Sergio,
as I like to call you, when people meet you at first, you seem a bit mysterious. Actually, my wife and I, we have a running joke. We call you man of few words.
Okay.
Because you do tend to be like quiet and observing people when first people meet you. So what do you think it's like the one thing people like misunderstand or misjudge about you when they first meet you?
Well, I learned back in the day, there's a book called the 48 Laws of Power. And there's the first chapter is called Never Outshine the Master, right? That's the first law. And I used to be the guy that always came in and was flashy and talked over people, and you know, I always liked to outshine the master wherever I came, right? And I didn't know I was doing it, but once I internalized it, reading that book, I became the opposite. Now I go in, I don't have anything to prove to anybody. You know, I've made my life. I know who I am. I know what I do. I know where I'm going. So I don't need to come anywhere in any room and prove myself to anybody. So it's been a flip, right? I used to be the loud talker and, you know, the guy that knew everything, and I probably am in a way inside my head, but but I just chose to be. I think there's, in that silence, in that listening, you can have a lot more impact than the other way around. So that's the man of few words. Yes, it was completely different probably 10 years ago. So
that's
it's
awesome,
a complete
man.
flip, right? That's how I can best explain it.
I love that. That's actually a super good story, and you know, I see the power to listening. Definitely, you know, me being in sales for many years, I know that it's always better to talk less and listen more. So
God gave you 2 years and 1 month, right? So use them proportionally.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yes.